So Lepers the focus been contested footy, given the numbers from the Western Bulldogs game and given how good Sydney are in that area?
Yeah, it's been a focus for a month though. Well, we always focus on it, but in training and what we've been doing, we're poor in the area, and on the weekend it's a little bit to do with the contest itself, but there's a bit of run involved in that as well, when you're not getting loose balls and things like that. We're probably down in that area as well with our GPS numbers, so there was a bit of run in there as well.
Why the dramatic fluctuation, do you think, over the past couple of weeks in that area?
It's a good question. You can probably ask Steph that particular one. Often when players, you're getting beaten around the contest, sometimes some of the other things fall away. You try and protect your defence, so you spend a lot of time in defensive 50 and don't run out, don't get creative because you're under the pump. So there's a lot of, I guess, psychological reasons why players, why you lose that number on any particular week. But our roles weren't getting filled. We've identified that, and then there's other parts to it, which is just in the training, which a lot of individuals are actually pretty good at. Just on the weekend we weren't.
You said last week that there was maybe signs in the preparation they hadn't prepared as well as maybe you had for Gold Coast. Did you see much this week? I know you made trainings today, but
what do you think, Steph? How's the prep been this week?
It's been sharper.
Yeah.
Been trying to make amends for our horrible performance last week.
And Steph, individually, I think Leper said after the game that it probably wasn't your best performance.
Yep.
What have you done this week to try and address that?
It's probably like the whole team is probably more psychological than anything. I was very passive and I was ball watching a lot, not aggressive, which are sort of the things that I've modelled my game on over the last few years, and I didn't do any of it on the weekend. So yeah, just another chance this week to do those things.
Do you feel like it wasn't just you though? It was the whole team sort of sitting back a bit?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I think we played decent footy at the Gabba. I think when we travel, we're probably we get paralysed a bit almost psychologically. We tend to go very passive, whereas when we play here, we're probably more aggressive. So we've got to iron that out and make sure we play as well away as we do at home.
There was a lot of talk around your concussion last week, Steph. Did you feel there was any sort of remnants from that carried over into the game, or did you feel fine?
No, to be honest, I was fine. It was just one of those days where I probably wasn't sharp enough and not hard enough to have a good game.
Do you think it's going to be something that always in the back of your mind sort of thing? Obviously what happened with Justin and just something you always got to monitor?
For me, no. I can tell you I didn't think about it once on the weekend. Almost the opposite. I know that I can get hit like that and it's not that big a deal. You get up and you're fine. I was probably normal even in that second half watching it. So if anything, it probably allows me to know I can take that hit.
How thorough has been testing, I guess, from when it happened to? Is there any ongoing stuff that you do, or is it because you're feeling fine now? Do they? Is that the end of it, or?
I said last week I'm doing a fair bit of study at the moment. I think the fact that I can do that and focus is almost as good or better test than they could probably perform themselves. So I'm monitoring it as I go, and I feel fine. And then they're always asking me how my energy levels are and stuff like that. So they're very concerned, but I've got to come to the party as well.
What's been the highlight of the first 99 games, Steph?
I was trying to think of this yesterday when I talked to you. I haven't had a heap of wins. We beat North Melbourne in a really close one a few years ago. I actually beat the D's in my first game against them, which was pretty cool on a personal note. I reckon just having the privilege of playing as the number one ruck at the Lions is probably what's meant the most to me. Yeah.
What's it mean to bring up the 100?
For me, it's a big deal. For others, I guess they knock it over pretty easily, but it's sort of been a real grind for me over 9 years. Pretty proud of it because, sort of a late convert to the game, and I think I've probably played 130 games of footy in my life, and 100 of them have been at AFL level, so pretty proud about that.
Leper, have you got any words of wisdom for Steph for his time again?
Well, he's wiser than me, don't worry about that, he's a smart man. I'm brat for Steph. I love when someone who doesn't come through the traditional pathway, stick to it, and I'm sure there's stages there where Steph didn't know how far I was going to go, but I reckon he's got another 100 in him, the way, and Steph's got the sort of body that can go the distance, I think. He looks after himself really well, highly professional, probably one of their most professional players on our list. So, I think he's got lots in him. How are you, 29 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, Steph can get to 35 easy, and knock over another 100 pretty quick, I reckon. I think the next 100 is going to be much quicker than this 100, that's for sure.
What gives you that confidence in saying that, Lepo? I know the club's backed him, obviously signing him for a long-term contract, and he's 29 and had a lot of injuries, not so many in the last sort of 2 years, but what gives you the confidence that he can...
Probably the way Steph prepares, and highly durable, and plays every week and plays high minutes, and you can tell that he looks after himself terrifically, and look at him. Hey, big boy. But he is, and it gives us a lot of confidence around the footy club when Steph's in there. Gives us a lot of strength, a lot of aggression, and obviously last year they had such a good year. He won a tight head best and fairest as well. So I'm very confident with Steph that we've got a long-term player even at the age of 29 here.
So it's his milestone game this weekend, obviously, but how important in the actual contest is he this weekend after last weekend's down game? And you've mentioned contested footy.
Look, I mean, I know it's Steph's here, but I mean Steph was no different to 21 other players last week. We all had a bad one, coaches included. I mean, everyone has to leave a game and first say, what could have I done better? And that's what I do as a coach, and I expect my coaches to do the same and the players to do the same. It was just a bad day for us as a footy club. So we want to rectify that, of course, quickly as we can. We haven't had too many poor performances so far this year, but we had to give credit to the Doggies. They're a pretty good team on that deck, and they're a sharper team we've played. So we just weren't ready for that battle.
Steph, do you see better times ahead over the next 100 games?
Yeah, I do. I can't wait till we're winning games regularly and pushing for finals. And it's going to be all the more sweet, I think, for having some lean years over the first X years of my career. So I reckon we're going to do it pretty quick when the ball turns. It's gonna happen pretty quick.
The fact that you only played, you've taken so long to come to 100 games that you haven't really been bashed around, aside from what happened a couple of weeks ago. Do you think that sort of kept your preservation in the fact that you can play the 35, perhaps, or just keep going?
Yeah, I mean, most games I get away from it without taking big hits, and I think I've had a good run. Other than those few years that were problematic, I think I've been able to play consistently. I don't get run down as such. Just when I have injuries, I've had them, but I think I can be consistent from here on out.